Great. Thank you for taking your lunch hour for some healthy movement, and we'll also include a little meditation at the end of this practice. Again, I'm Betsy. Find your yoga mat or your open space that you're working with and come have a comfortable seat. I like to sit cross-legged to start, but I know a lot of folks also like to sit back on the heels. That works a little better, just however you like to sit. I always think the best way to introduce ourselves to this time of movement is first to settle. Let your hands relax. Close your eyes or turn your gaze low. Just kind of give yourself the moment to acknowledge a shift from what you were just doing before into this time for you. Big thanks to Politico for recognizing the importance of self-care, health, fitness, to a well-rounded life. Bring your awareness to your breath here. Now, I've been doing yoga for quite a long time. And one of the big pieces about it that I love is that there's just no way to do yoga wrong. It's simply like feel good, feel better in the movement. I love that in connecting in this virtual environment, as many of you have your videos off, like it's all just for you. Keep that in mind, breath by breath, through both the easy movements and the things that'll be a little more challenging. Just like life, right? Let's nod the chin down to the chest here, and then just rock the head from side to side. Right ear to right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder. Just back and forth, a little opening movement. If you've been sitting, typing throughout the morning, this should be a very welcome reprieve. And then keep the right ear over towards the right shoulder and take the left hand out to the side, just fingertips on or just barely grazing the ground. And then the right hand on top of the left ear, give it a little tug out to the side. And walk the hands back to the legs, chin to chest, left ear over towards the left shoulder. And then take the right fingertips out to the side. And that should be just like a little bit more stretch than if the hand wasn't there. And this is how we learn, like, where are those steps that feel good? Would you like left hand on top of the right ear and give it a little tug out to the side? Try not to push down. Just lengthen out. Okay, we come back, both hands to the legs, chin down to the chest. If there's a specific intention or reason that brought you to the practice today, maybe it's like, I want some time to stretch. I need a little something different, de-stress today. Keep that intention in mind. It can be super simple. Okay, lift the chin, open your eyes, and we'll go into bigger movements. Curl over onto all fours. Set your hands under your shoulders and the knees underneath the line of the hips. Do cat and cow. Pull your chest forward, eyes and tailbone up to the sky. And then press down through your hands and knees, round your back, and drop the head, cat pose. We'll go back and forth like this. Inhale, pull the chest forward and through, eyes and tailbone up. And then exhale, press down through the hands and knees, around the back, drop the head. You can kind of find your own rhythm here, faster, slower, staying in one point longer than the other. Again, working through what feels good, what feels better, best choices. Give yourself one more round like this. And then come back to a neutral spine and take the hands like another handprint out in front, so a little longer here. And then tuck the toes and lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Here in down dog, this inverted V shape, just pedal out the feet. Let the head relax, maybe shake a little yes and no. We'll try to make sure we work through each of the major points of the body. A little stretch, a little strengthen in this 45-minute practice. Press both heels evenly down and back now. They don't have to reach the ground by any means, but the effort is there for us. Full breath in. Exhale, breathe out. And then lower your knees down to the yoga mat. Toes together, press back into child's pose. So press the hips towards your heels. But walk the hands out long in front of you. Stay pretty active here. I like to be just on the fingertips. Lift your forearms, elbows, upper arm bones to the sky. A little hollowing in the armpits. Try to pull back towards the hips. And then walk both hands over to the right side. Reach the left hand a little bit further than the right hand, and then try to sit heavier back towards the left hip. Walk it across your center, and do that to the second side. Reach from the right hand. It's trying to go as far as it can in front, but at the same time, a tug of war of the hip back towards your heel. And walk the hands back to the middle. Come back up to all fours. And then swing your right foot to the front. And take the hands either to the inside of the foot or on either side, whichever one you like better. Line up your knee over the ankle and also the knee over the second and third toes. And then tuck the back toe and lift the back leg. Here, wherever you've landed, lift up like 2 inches higher, just hips a little bit higher. Engage the muscle to the bone. Squeeze the left quad, the left thigh muscle heavier onto the bone. Can you imagine that deep inside the body? And then keeping that, walk the hands up to your front thigh, lift your torso, and reach the arms to the sky. High lunge. Turn the palms in towards each other. First big, fierce pose here. I always know I've got so much confidence and fullness when I come to the mat regularly. Find the power here, take it off the mat as well. Feels good. Take the hands down, lower the left knee to the ground, find your way to all fours, and then swing the other leg forward. And there's no rush to it, and I think actually taking our time to really set up, feet themselves still about hip distance apart, knee over ankle, we do all of the good alignment so that then when we stand up and come into that full posture, it's much more open to us. Lift the torso straight up and down, arms up to the sky, turn the palms in. Keep breathing. Straight, strong back leg. Descend into the front thigh. We've got this. And then lower it back down. Lower the back knee. Find your way around to all fours. And downward facing dog. And I also love creativity in postures, so I'm going to mention how to come into things, but if there's a different way that you notice that works better for me, go for it. Walk your hands backwards now to your feet. Keep your knees bent. Think like a rag doll here. Drape your upper body over your legs. Maybe hold on to your elbows and sway a little bit from side to side. The whole point is that our posterior muscles have to work so hard throughout the day just keeping us upright. This is the time to let it release and hang over. The softening is as much work and so important as those big, powerful moves. Okay, slowly roll up to standing. As you do that, roll the shoulders up and back a couple of times. And then roll the shoulders forward and down a couple of times. Walk up to the front end of your yoga mat. We're going to go through 2 rounds of sun salutation here. I'm guessing some of you know this. I'm guessing it's brand new to some of you. Inhale, lift up. We'll take it at a pace that'll make sense for everybody. Exhale, forward fold. And then bring your hands to your thighs and extend from your hips out to the crown of the head like you're making an L shape in your body. From there, hands down, step back so you're at the top of your push-up in plank pose. Try plank with your heels touching or almost touching. Squeeze it in, squeeze your glutes, lengthen your tailbone, tone your belly, and look forward. In plank pose, we want our arms straight, but you could always do this from your knees or from the toes. And we'll hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then lower flat down against your mat. Press into your hands, the top of your feet, peel your chest up, cobra pose. Nice, big lift. And then change to downward facing dog. I like to go through all fours, tuck the toes, lift the hips. You could also do that movement more swiftly. Look forward to the hands. Step, jump, or walk your way up. Inhale, half lift, that same L shape. Maybe hands can go a little lower, deeper stretch through the hamstrings, measuring what works for you. And then fold all the way over. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. And then palms together, center of the chest. Let's do it all one more time. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, hands to thighs, shins, maybe even fingertips to the floor. And then step back to plank. Take one line, lower it down. And keep the thighs on the ground, but lift the chest up. Use some weight here into the hands, even press into the top of the feet. Squeeze in the glutes. And then downward facing dog. Couple of breaths right here. Look in between your hands. And step, jump, or walk to the very top of the yoga mat. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. And bring the palms together, center of the chest. Release the arms. Give it a little bit of a shake. Tree pose. This is a balance pose. Sometimes I shift over and hold onto a wall or something, or you just try it in the center. The worst that happens is that 2 feet come down. Take your left leg onto your right leg, left foot onto your right leg, and you can go really high up onto the thigh, or keep it on the calf. It's up to you. Palms together. Gaze somewhere that's not going to move or change out in front of you. Tone in the abdomen. Broaden from shoulder to shoulder. And then let's reach our arms up to the sky. Keep pointing the knee out to the side and toes straight down to the floor. You're here for just one more breath. Okay, release the arms, release your leg. Second side, with the left leg firm, place the right foot on the leg. And maybe you're trying about the same height. Maybe you're like, yeah, this side I can go a little higher, needs to stay a little lower. We always think bodies look symmetrical, but of course we know they're not. So be okay with something being different on one side than the next. What works here? Arms to the sky when you're ready. Press the foot into the leg back out into the foot. Always that little bit of push and pull action to find our balance. And then release the arms and release the leg. A little bit of a shake. Take a wide stance. I'm going to face the long edge of the mat. Point the toes straight ahead and your heels straight back. And then turn your right toes out. As you turn the right toe out, we want that heel to line up about with the middle of the back foot. Or if you're like, I need a little more balance control, line up heel to heel. You can play with it. Extend your arms out in either direction. Triangle pose. We'll do our best to keep our arms and our legs straight. Reach as far as you can to the right. And then lower your right hand down. Does it find your calf, the floor, wherever it finds itself? Top arm straight up to the sky. Actively press down and out through your feet. Feel that energy kind of rebound up into the pelvic floor, into the belly, and shoot out to the arms. Inhale, come all the way back upright. And switch your feet. So the right toes turn in, left toes turn out. Again, find your heel to heel or heel to the middle of the back foot alignment. Gaze out over the front fingertips. Reach as far as you can to the left. So it's like a hinge here at the hip. And then you've done all of the work. And for support, we're going to lower the bottom hand to the shin or to the floor and top arm up to the sky. I've often heard, imagine that you're in between two planes of glass here, so we're not trying to lean forward or back. We're staying right into the center. Inhale and come all the way back upright. And then turn the feet parallel to one another. Okay, I'm going to take a little bend in the knees here and set the hands down. Stay on your fingertips so you don't have to go all the way down to flat palms. And the hands forward so that your wrist and shoulder are about in line with one another. Knees can absolutely stay bent or try straighter legs. But think of that half lift that we did in sun salutation a little bit before. Really reach, reach, reach. Lengthen from the hips to the head. And then we're going to turn this. Take the right hand out to the side. Remember, knees bent or legs straighter. And turn and tone through the belly. Twist in the upper back. Lift the right hand to the sky. This to me is a deceptively intricate pose. Lower the right hand all the way down. So we're doing our best to keep the hips about square. Take the left hand out to the side so that then the work of the pose, left arm up to the sky, really becomes about finding that little bit of extra mobility and opening in the upper back. As people, we are notoriously a bit stuck and stiff in the upper back. It takes a little time there. And then both hands back down. Walk the hands back up to the legs, push down, and come all the way upright. And then heel toe your legs in, shake it out. Let's return to the top edge of our mat. Mountain pose, extend the arms down by your side. Just breath in, breath out. Again, one of the simplest poses from the outside looking on. And yet, for those of us so used to moving, saying stand still, stand here, stand in your fullness. It's a lot. Try it for one more breath. Well done. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. Hold on to your right wrist and reach over to the left side. I'm going to push your hip out. Good. Come back to the center. Let's give it a go on the second side. Reach up and a little bit over. Push the hips off. All right, back to the middle. Forward fold. Keep your right foot forward now and step your left foot back into a low lunge. Add a twist, right hand up to the sky. And then lower the right hand back down and walk both hands up to the front thigh. Palms together and add another twist. This time it's left elbow towards the right side. And it can stay lifted or hook all the way to the outside of the thigh. Now, big helper here, if you're finding yourself off balance, take the back knee down to the ground. Or try lifting it higher than you first thought to. Either way, stay with that twist. And then on a breath in, untwist. Set both hands down. We're still on this leg. Spin the back heel down. Let's go about heel to heel alignment this time. And come all the way, kind of cartwheel your arms open to warrior two. Now in warrior two, the back leg, make it straight. If anything, think of that back left thigh and push it more back. And then this gets into the nuance, but I think that's fun. The front thigh, you're trying to pull the tailbone on that side more down towards the floor underneath you. So it's like this constant kind of back and forth that stabilizes. Okay, side angle pose, legs stay the same. Right elbow to the knee. Take the left hand overhead and reach, reach, reach. Look to the side or up. And then look down and take both hands beside your foot. Make your way to plank pose. Oh, I've got one more fun challenge for us before we do the other side. You ready for it? Side plank. Go to down dog first. So your hips are up, up, up. And then can you balance on your right hand? Turn to the outer edge of your right foot. Now that left foot, this is my favorite form of side plank. Step it forward like it's a kickstand and try to swing your left arm up to the sky. So in this version, there's less balance needed. Definitely a lot of strength coming in, but an awesome stretch in the IT band. That outer hip towards the outer knee of the left leg. Whether you sit or lot, or do a repetitive action like running, cycling, walking a lot, that's probably tight. This will feel good. Okay, downward facing dog. Take the hand down, step back. And then look forward to your hands and take your time to walk it on up to the front of the mat. Bring the hands to the hips, point your elbows to the sky, push down into your feet and come all the way upright. This is fun. Let's do the second side. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Okay, so keep your left foot forward and step your right foot back. So you're again into your low lunge. And then right fingertips stay down, but lift your left arm up to the sky for the twist. Lower the left hand down. Take both hands, walk it higher up to your thigh. Find your stability there. So is it back knee down or up? And then add the challenge of the twist to that. Right elbow towards the left knee, outside of the thigh even. If your elbow is all the way locked to the outside of your thigh, can you actually smush, technical terms, smush your belly onto the thigh and vice versa? And that makes it a really nice safe turn in the spine. Untwist, set the hands down, spin the back heel to the ground, cartwheel the arms open, come up, warrior two. Again, back leg straight, press all the way through the pinky toe side of that foot, gaze out over the front fingertips. And then my handy alignment cue here is if we just look down, I want to be able to see my left big toe. A lot of times when I first look down, it's hidden by my knee or thigh. So it's just that reminder, open it up. Keep it there, and then go elbow to the knee, top arm palm down overhead. Side angle pose. Okay, look down at the mat. Make your way to low lunge. And I mean that, like transition in the way that works for you. And then to plank pose. Downward dog. Side plank on this side, left hand. Turn to the pinky edge of your left foot. Certainly there are different ways to practice side plank. If you like a different one, go for it. But I'm going today, right foot forward like it's that kickstand, and right arm up to the sky. If you're like, oh, okay, I'm getting that IT span stretch, also a little extra oblique work in the abdomen. Do a couple of little lifts in the hips, little pulse. And then look down and step it all the way back to plank. Lower flat down to your yoga mat. Peel the chest up in cobra. And push back. Child's pose. Heavy breath out a couple of times. Okay, what you might think is good news, we're going to stay a little lower to the mat for the rest of the practice. Come upright, sit back on the heels. Another option is to be in a kneeling position like this if this doesn't work in your knees or ankles. Okay, easy twist. Look over one shoulder, twist. And look over the other shoulder. Then come back to the center, interlace your hands. Okay, whichever first finger is on top, put the other one on top. So it's like the less comfortable clasp, and then palms forward and up to the sky. The shoulders like to lift towards our ears here. Let them lift. Lift, lift, lift. Get as tall as you can on the sides of the body. Awesome. And then release the hands, let it shake a little bit. A little bit more, just hand and wrist work. Make stop signs out in front of you, and then a fist. And move the wrist around one way and the other. These are really great exercises to do throughout your day. If you notice you've been at the computer for an entire hour, take even just 30 seconds to do a little bit for yourself. 5 deep breaths, and some of this hand and wrist exercise will feel nice. Okay, palms together, and then we're going to reverse it. So then the fingertips go down and we're back of the palms, and just swing the hands back and forth. I love this release in the wrist. Relax the shoulders a little bit too. Good. Okay, let's take our legs out in front. Turn back to the side myself. To sit up really tall, try bending the knees until you notice that you're not leaned forward or back, but as much as you can, right into the center. So it's like an L shape, but with a little bend in the knees. Should free up and make this more doable across the low back and hamstrings. And yet I'm doing a lot of work. Activate in the abdomen, think navel back towards the spine, and at the same time, chest a little bit lifted, just to stay here. Try it with the arms up to the sky as well. This one's called staff pose, or in Sanskrit, it's Dandasana. Legs go straighter as your body allows, but if the legs start to go straighter and you start to roll back, go back to some bend. Okay, and then if we're in a 90-degree angle here, I want you to go to like an 80-degree angle, just a little more forward, but still with as much of those straight lines as possible. And then maybe even to 75, sort of closing off the angle, a little more acute. One more time. This time you get to round the back, just evenly round the back and sort of fall over the legs. And I like to think of that rounding like the shape of a rainbow that has an even curve all the way through, not all just curved at the top. But really, no worries. Fold over the legs and breathe. That's the important part. And then take your time to come back upright and set the soles of your feet together. With the soles of the feet together, point the knees out in either direction and fold over. And immediately check in. Does that feel okay to you folded over? Or was it better if you stayed upright and lift the chest? Pick the one that works best. And here's where I ask us in the practice, go back to that intention. What took you to take class today? How is it sitting? As we've done the biggest pieces of the movement. And now that biggest ask is more release. Okay, if you're forward, come back upright, hold on to the outside of your thighs and pull in. And then shift to lie all the way down. As you lie back, soles of the feet on the mat, point the knees straight up to the sky. Cross your right ankle over the left knee. I'm sure many of you know this exercise. Point the knee out to the side so it's like your legs are making a figure 4 shape, and pull the left leg in. Hands have a lot of options. They can be out to the side. This is an awesome stretch in the outer hip. If If you want to intensify that, thread the arms through, hold underneath your left thigh, or even to the top of the left shin. This is a position I tend to prefer versus pigeon pose, but both pigeon pose and here, thread the needle. They're hitting the same big outer hip muscle. Take the right leg down, left leg across. And I just say I tend to prefer this one because it tends to be a bit more accessible, especially if we don't add the arms to more bodies. I say all that because I hope that you'll do another yoga class at some point after this. And if the teacher's walking you into pigeon pose and you're like, oof, that never works for me, this is an awesome alternative and you can go right to it. Okay, let's take both feet back down to the mat. Take your hands and try to reach to brush close to or right against the back of your heels. Push your feet down, your shoulders down, the back of your head down to the floor. And then bridge pose. Lift your hips as high as you can. I'm a huge proponent of strength first to do our poses with more safety. So squeeze your butt like crazy here. And then from that squeeze, try to lift higher up. Hands can interlace underneath you and pull the shoulders a little more up and in. But that can also feel too confining. A lot of times I like to hold the edges of my yoga mat or just hands on the ground, open. One more breath like this, and lower it all the way back down. Stretch your legs out. Reach the arms overhead. So as tall as you can be from the fingertips down to your toes. And then pull the knees into your chest. Nice little squeeze. Maybe a little rock from side to side. All right. If there's any last little bit of movement that would feel good to you here, you can add it in. One more pose. Go back to something we already did. Just stay as is. But then I'd like for you to find yourself a still position where you can be as comfortable as possible for about 4 minutes. So it might be like I'm doing now, arms, legs extended, lying back. If you have the clear, safe space to do that, give yourself that opportunity. There are a lot of times, though, that this is actually hard for me. And so I'd rather a seat and like even a supported seat. Maybe you find yourself back against the wall, whether it's legs crossed, legs out, whatever it might be. Would you like to sit in a chair here? What I'm saying is the options are limitless. Find what works. If you think that's too many options, lie back, lie down, give that a try. Okay, I'm hoping you found your still spot. We're going to do 5 deep breaths together here. Full breath in. Exhale out. Breath 2, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Slowly breathe out. Can most of that inhale rest in your belly? Here we are, breathe in. And out. One more breath like that to really empty. And take your mind's eye all the way down to your toes. Your toes, your feet, your ankles. Release and relax. Slowly walk up the body here. So from the ankles, see your calves, your shins, your knees. Release and relax. To your thighs, the front of the thigh, the quads, the back of the thigh, hamstrings, all the way up into your hips and pelvis, glutes. Release and relax. They do most of the work in those big standing postures. A little extra. Release, relax. Keep walking further up to the abdomen. See low back, mid back, upper back. Release and relax. From the abdomen to the ribs and to the chest, front side of the torso, release and relax. The shoulders, down your arms, the elbows, lower arm into the wrist, hands and your fingers, release and relax. And take that mental map from your fingertips back up the arms. Shoulders always deserve a little extra. Release and relax. To the neck, back of the head, release and relax. And then into the face, can you relax along your temples? Even feel a heaviness of the eyes dropping back behind the eyelids. Perhaps a little flare of the nostrils. Relax at the jawline. Release and relax. Drop the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Part your teeth. I am released. I am relaxed. If you have a bit more time for yourself, you're welcome to stay as is for longer. Not too swiftly, but for those needing to move along here. If you're lying back, come all the way back to a seated position. Give yourself the time for just 3 more deep breaths, allowing those breaths to be a transition back into this Friday. I'd love to close palms together, thumbs to the sternum. Just give yourself a little bow in full gratitude to yourself, to all of us that gathered for this time for practice, this time to stretch, to strengthen, and to de-stress in the body and mind. Thank you all. Namaste.